So being a split keyboard enthusiast, one thing I like to do is try different kinds of split ergo keyboards, because until you try it, let's be honest, you don't know which one is going to be the perfect one for you. Well, in today's episode, I thought I'd take a moment and review the Keyboardio Model M100 keyboard. This is one that I purchased myself off of eBay. So this isn't sponsored or anything like that. My channel's too tiny for them to ever sponsor me anyway. But I just want to talk about this keyboard because it's a unique keyboard. This one, we'll get into all the details here. And you might find that it might be the perfect keyboard for you after watching this. Or you may find that it's one that may not work for you. Either way, it's fine. But at least you know its benefits and its downsides. Hopefully after this video, you'll be able to decide whether this keyboard is right for you or if it's one that you may want to try out. Let's go to the desk and take a look at it together. So this here is the Model M100 as it comes. So like I said, I bought this one off of eBay. I did not buy it brand new. I bought it with my own money. And honestly, if you're looking to just try something and you don't mind used, eBay is a great market to find nice, gently used split ergo keyboard, because a lot of people will buy these and decide, it's not right for me, and go off and buy a different one and sell their old one. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got to be able to try these things. But so this is mine that I purchased, and I'll tell you what, one thing that I think you'll like and that I was really impressed by is the build quality. The build quality of this keyboard is fantastic. As you'll see, it comes with this nice carrying case. Not that I would want to lug this thing around. I mean, it's not much smaller than a bowling ball, to be honest. Just with the size, you can see a comparison of my hands. This is a nice size and kind of bulky, but at least you have this case and it protects the keyboard really well. So if you do want to travel with it, you can. So let's open it up and take a look inside together. Now, by default, when you buy one of these, it's going to come with your keyboard halves. Then it's going to come with one of these. Now, this, it takes, I like how they put their butterfly logo in places. What this does is you'll see these little groove marks here, and then these little teeth areas. This allows you to slide these together to keep it all as one keyboard if you don't want to have it actually truly split. Then you have both halves of the keyboard. This is going to be your keycap and switch puller, because all the switches are hot swappable, which is a great feature in my opinion. And then finally, you get this little Cat 5 cable to connect between the two halves. And this is a great feature of this. Instead of using like a TRRS cable or USB-C, it just uses a basic network cable. You know, any RJ45 to RJ45 pass-through cable will work just fine with this. Best if shielded, obviously, but it's still nice to know. If we look at the Model M100, the base of it, this is plastic. But what's really unique about this keyboard is the top of it is wood. So you have this nice palm rest, and you can actually tell, well, you might be able to see it through the camera there. This nice polished area is where your palm goes. And has a nice thumb cluster. You have like a palm thumb button here going on. And then all of the keys, you'll notice they're all concaved and they're molded to make it more comfortable when typing so you can reach things better. That has its benefits and its downsides. And then it has these nice rubber feet as well. And one thing you may have noticed is right here, this is a mounting point for like a tripod, a camera mount. So you can mount this to your desk. You can mount this to a tripod. You can mount this to just about whatever you want, which I love this feature. This is a fantastic feature that they added. So let's get both halves out, and we'll get our connecting cable out and everything. Let's get this case out of the way. I want to show you this little combiner here. I don't know what it's actually called, but basically you take each half of the keyboard and you slide this piece in between, So instead of you having a split ergo keyboard, it makes it into one single. Now I can slide this all the way down if I wanted to combine them. It's not very even, so there we go. Got to get them lined up right. And now your split ergo keyboard has a slight tint to it, as you could tell. Has a slight tint. And now it's a single board, but they are turned, so it's more comfortable with your wrists, which is something I really like. Let's take this off though for now, and we'll connect each half. Here's the RJ45 connection. We'll connect each of these together. Now obviously you could put a longer cable in there if you want, but for demonstration purposes, I'm just using the little one it came with. So you have a nice gap between the two, that even with this short little cable, and since it's nice and flat, it stays out of the way. Can't take it very far obviously, but you can always put a longer one there. And then connect it. It's just a single USB-C cable, which we'll grab my USB-C and plug it in so you can see. And there's our keyboard all plugged in and ready to go. And it's working. It's ready. I can actually start using it right now if I wanted to, since it's plugged in and working. I don't have the RGB turned on. It is turned off. But we can actually fix that. Let me show you the programming on this. So let's switch over to our monitor. And it uses software called Chrysalis. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. The nice part about all of these keyboards that Keyboard.io sells, it is all open source. And so here's their GitHub page. So if you want to look at Kaleidoscope, which is their firmware that they use on their keyboards, if you want to look at Chrysalis, their keyboard configurator, you can look at everything right here, which is really convenient of them. I'm glad that they made it open source, and so you can look under the hood and see. But here's their configurator. This is simple to get to. It's chrysalis.keyboard.io, and it shows when it was last updated. He keeps it very well up to date, which is fantastic. We'll hit connect and we see this little pop-up. You do need a Chrome or Chromium based browser, so something like Chrome, Brave, Edge, etc. You'll see the model 100. It already picked it up on COM8. We'll go ahead and connect, and it pulls the configuration from the device, and there we go. Here's our keyboard. Now what's nice about this is everything down here, this is your configuration. So if you want to change, like let's say I want to change this G to an H, I can click it just like that, hit save changes, and now that key, instead of it being a G, will be an H. Or I can set it back to a G. It has some nice advanced capabilities, like so if you want to add in your own custom key codes, you can block or make keys transparent. You can add tap, dance. Leader, I'm not sure what that is. There's a few features here. I'm not too familiar with this configurator. I have not had this keyboard for very long. I'll be honest. I really just wanted it to try the layout because I love the idea behind the layout. I'm not too sure about the fun buttons here on the Palm. I need more time to tinker with it and try it, but it's a comfortable keyboard, which is nice. Well, let's look more at this configurator here. So you could configure your LEDs. You can configure, which is your lighting under your keys. You can have macros, which are fantastic. The control, this is like media control, so like previous track, next track, stop, volume keys, Bluetooth to pair your various devices. You can also adjust screen brightness if you've got like a laptop or you got this plugged into a tablet. You can use different languages. You can have mouse controls on this, which is wonderful. The warp, I think this is kind of cool. So if you want to like suddenly move your mouse from down here to up here, you can do that. So in the Northwest, you've got modifiers, so you can add like your home roam mods, things like that in here. And any special keys that you want, you can add it to be sticky or have a secondary action, like if it's normal, layer shift, modifier. So there are a lot of cool features with this configuration. To me, I've played around with this for a little bit. I don't feel like this is like very, let me show you. Let's just go to the LEDs. One thing I don't get is how this configures. I've not been able to quite figure that out. If I want to change a layer with their color, you know, I can pick one key and change it, make it brighter, for example. Now, with that being said, it's like, okay, let's save changes here. We'll save it to our keyboard, see if our keyboard lights up. See, so I'm not quite sure how this lighting and stuff is supposed to work. So that's one limitation. This isn't like super easy to figure out, at least not for me. So here's an easy way to update your firmware. Current firmware version. Aha, factory reset. Here, let's do this real quick. Let's update my keyboard. Yep, continue. Button below, pick your keyboard, hold down the keyboard button, and see, so let's refresh this. Let's connect. We'll reading data from device. There we go. Now let's go here, let's erase everything. We'll hit update, hold down the key, so the program key, continue. There we go. Hit OK. This went into bootloader. Now let's start. All right, so it's flashing. I got this keyboard and the button below. Select your keyboard. Perfect. Connect. Cool. Now it's restoring factory defaults. So hopefully we'll see it light up here in just a minute. So I'm getting used to this keyboard. It got flashed correctly. That's good. Still not seeing it light up. But that may be just because maybe the factory defaults have it turned off. Yeah, so is there a way to like, see, that's the one thing I don't exactly get is how to set up your layers, things like that. So I'd have to play with this to really learn and see how all it works. But I was hoping I'd get this thing to light up because it has some nice per key lighting on here. But one thing I do like with the default layout, the keys, if you could tell, let me zoom in here on the desk. The keys have a nice legend to them. So here's your arrow keys. Here's some of your symbols. You've got a number row along top. Here's your escape key, your shift and stuff. So this is nice from the standpoint of, for a learning keyboard, a first keyboard, it's fantastic. Help you get used to it because it's got a nice default layout. Accessory wise, let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff you can get for it. So this is an extra accessory that came with my keyboard that I bought off of eBay. It came all with the keyboard, and it's these nice milky, creamy, clear keycaps. I haven't put these on. I've left the black shine throughs. And then one thing I did go ahead and get because I wanted to try, if you recall, it has that nice tripod mount. One thing that they sell in their store, and honestly I think these are pretty reasonably priced, is a keyboard stand. I'll tell you what, these stands are great. Whether you have this keyboard or not, this is a very nice stand. I love how it has a nice rubber texture on it on top, rubber feet on the bottom, and it has this nice angle, if you could see that. So you can change how and the angle of the keyboard. So it shows you max and lowest with a couple of indicators right here, which is nice. Again, everything about this keyboard is really well made. You can tell this is a passion project. And all of this is available on their store. Let me show you their website here. I had it up just a little bit on keyboard.io. You can check out their website. Here's the Model 100. They have the Atreus. I've never tried this keyboard. It's a kind of a unique one. Single. They've got, they got a few different ones. And this is the couple. This is their business, Jesse and Kala. And I think it's neat what they've done with this. So let's talk about the pluses and minuses. And this is my own personal review. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just my own observations and how I feel on it. Please decide for yourself whether this keyboard is right for you. What I like about it, I can't stress this enough. These things are really well made. They're very nice. If you took them apart, what I like is on the right-hand side here, it actually put on the silk screen, hey, you ought to look at the other side. It's got more interesting stuff because the microprocessor and everything's over on this side. You could tell they had a lot of fun designing these, and they've spent a lot of time figuring out what they want from these keyboards. And yeah, I can't say enough good things from a manufacturing standpoint and a product standpoint. Now, what I don't care for, and this again is my own personal preferences, I love the fact that it's all open source. But what I don't like is I can't load QMK on here, which is something I'm more familiar with. I can't use this with the tools that I'm used to. I have to use their software. Now, there may be some projects out there that I may not know about that you can do it. I haven't looked into it yet, but when I was quickly browsing through, that's something I found, because I personally find Chrysalis a little confusing. Again, I have not spent a whole lot of time with it. But usually with most keyboard configurators, I'm in there knocking it out and changing what I want really quick. And I find Chrysalis is a little confusing for me, and it doesn't do what I think it's going to do necessarily. The keycaps themselves, I like the contour of the keycaps. These are very comfortable on the fingers. It feels good when you're typing on it and things. But what I don't like is it uses proprietary keys. These are standard MX for their keycaps and switches, which is great. So you can put whatever switch you want as long as it's an MX style switch. And these keycaps will fit it. But the keycaps themselves, because of the way they're contoured, will only work on this keyboard. You can't just buy any keycaps off the shelf and plug those in here. Again, that has its benefits, and it also has its downside. I'm not too sure about this thumb switch here. I think this is kind of a neat idea, but I'm not sure how practical it is. Again, I haven't used this a whole lot. This is just my initial thinking and my initial thoughts and playing with this. So just to sum this up, if you're looking for a great keyboard, especially one to start off with that's built really well, you might want to give this a good hard look at, because I like how you can easily mount it with the camera mounts, your standard thread type here. You can use any camera mount you want, so you can mount this to your desk, to your chair, whatever. I love the fact that it has a nice palm rest. I like the wood. It has a nice feeling. The switches, the contours of the switches and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of these thumb switches. They're bumpy. They're convex. I'd rather have something that I could slide into. I get why you did that, but I don't know. That's again my personal preference. But if you want a good keyboard just to try out as a good first starter, you may find that this is fantastic. It's a neat keyboard design. It's a neat layout. And really, that leads me to my last thing. I am not an MX fan. I personally prefer low profile. Matter of fact, that's why my store is all low profile switches and keycaps and stuff. But that's a personal preference. If you don't mind MX, you're going to find that this is low profile just from the fact of your hand, because of the palm rest, is up higher up. You know, you don't have a big thick keyboard in front of your hand. The keyboard is under your hand because you have that palm rest there, and it makes it more comfortable to type on. So I hope you found this video helpful to help you decide whether the Keyboard.io Model 100 is the right keyboard for you or not. Please remember to like and subscribe. Follow us for more videos. Put down in the description, or not the description, write down in the comments what you think about the Model 100, or whether you like MX or low profile. Please let us know. If there's a keyboard that you're kind of curious about that you want reviewed, let me know. I may have it, or I may be looking to get one to try out. But reach out, let us know. Looking forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.